Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a reading for Aries. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there's anything that you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I'm merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. First card is a Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords. A lot of truth is coming out right now. Okay, there's a lot of things that we are trying to be very realistic about. Okay, so we have to cut through the fog and the cloud to see our own vision, right? To see what's meant for us. We have to be brutally honest with ourselves. Now, Path of the Serpent to finish out our Dove and Serpent spread. This looks really good. I like this. I like this because I feel like we're making progress. I feel like things are happening, things are developing, right? So I think this is really good. We're going to do a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to use the Smith-Waite Tarot. We're going to select one card, and this is going to be put right over here. We'll put the alien friend on top. We're not going to look at that until the very end, okay? And hopefully at the end of the reading, that card will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. Okay, so we've got some majors, 1, 2, 3 majors. We've got some air, some earth, some fire, more air. We've got some water finally on the Path of the Serpent. So I think things are fairly well balanced. There's not that much of the fire energy, which it would be nice to have a little bit more, but the fire we have is really nice. Okay, so we're not really missing anything. We seem to be heavy on the earth and the air. And I think that's because there's a lot going on in your practical life now. I think maybe, look at these two cards together. The Nine of Swords and the Five of Discs. There's been some anxiety in your physical environment lately. Okay, now, right now I don't know if this is financial. It feels to me like it's related to the work that you do. And of course, when I say work, I don't just mean your employment. I mean whatever you spend your time doing, whatever you are employed in, whatever you are working on, right? Whatever your projects are, whatever you focus your time and your energy on, on a daily basis, let's say. So even if you're retired, you still work. You still have things to do, right? It could be doing things around the house, gardening, home repairs, working on cars, I don't know. Any sort of thing. We all have something that we're focusing our time on, right? And I think whatever you're spending your time on right now, there's some frustration because it's not really developing the way that you wanted it to, okay? It could be your job, your career, your employment. I feel like there's a lot of work being put into something, but it's not stabilizing, right? It's still kind of shaky. It's unreliable. It's unpredictable. Okay, so this could be like you started your own business and it's off to kind of a rocky start, right? You started a new artistic endeavor, new projects, whatever you're working on, seems like it's not really going your way and there's some anxiety related to that, okay? Now this could be talking about health or well-being. This isn't a medical reading. It's not a financial reading. So I can't really give any advice as far as health or finances. But the energy to me seems like it's something that is affecting you in your physical environment, possibly including your physical body, right? So if it's anxiety about work, well, it's affecting the way you feel too, the way you feel physically in your body. And I think that we really need to kind of open our eyes here, okay? There's something about this situation that you're trying to force. It's not meant for you. Okay? either the exact medium through which you're working, or the object that you're working upon, the industry that you're in, the career that you're in, the company that you're with. It's not meant for you. So the Nine of Swords here is a very painful truth. It is really about stop trying to analyze the situation, turn these swords back at ourselves, and let's try to analyze what we've got going on. What are we doing that is, are we forcing this? Are we going against perhaps this sense of destiny? And we're going to get to that in a second because I think there's something here. Okay? But first, this thing that you're doing is, it could be what you really want to do, what feels really good to do. It could be something that maybe you feel obligated to do. Right? Maybe you feel this was the prescribed route for you, and there's no veering off course. You kind of have to do this, even though I'm starting to think you don't like it. Right? I'm starting to think there's more going on here than just some frustration because you're not making the progress that you thought you would in this work that you do. General, air quotes work. So let's explore this a little bit because I'm feeling something here. I think we're onto something. First of all, I brought up this Wheel of Fortune. It's in the background. It's behind everything. This is kind of your sense of destiny, your sense of what is meant for you, right? So usually this card's a very, very positive, very hopeful card. This is things getting so much better. But I wonder if this is you feeling like you have to stick with this work because it's your lot in life, because it's what you're meant to do, because this is your fate. You were destined to do this. And it's almost like it's almost a Procrustean kind of thing. We're trying to fit ourselves into this wheel, even though it may not be meant for us. We may be thinking about it or looking at it incorrectly. Okay. So there is some introspection that needs to happen. We've got the Hermit energy over here that's already preparing to do that. Okay. So it feels to me like you are trying to force yourself to fit into this sense of destiny or fate or what you were meant to be doing, where you're supposed to be in your life. But I think we may be looking at this Wheel of Fortune incorrectly. Okay. I think maybe if we can retune some of our thinking, which we see a lot of this air energy here, right? So we might need to retune some of this air. If we could readjust it and maybe pick up on the right frequency here, we can get a better sense of what this destiny really is, right? Could be that you're correct in what it is, but we may have the details wrong, right? Or we may have the timing wrong, This card is sometimes a lot about timing, right? And the timing seems to be behind us. I wonder if we're coming at this situation a little bit too late. And so, because we kind of missed maybe this opportunity here, we kind of have to readjust our plans and our details in order to, try to kind of reharmonize with this Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So there's something going on here where we feel almost an obligation, almost maybe like a spiritual obligation to continue to do this work, but I don't think it's necessarily for you. I think there are details that we have missing or incorrect. The Five of Swords down here at the bottom, underneath everything. This could be a underlying disagreement, really, with this whole issue. It could be that you ultimately in the kind of the secret place of your mind or your heart, you don't really want to be doing this. Okay? Or you don't feel that it is your destiny or your fate, or you don't want it to be. Our thinking is at odds with this Wheel of Fortune. Right? The Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter energy, very expansive. Right? Likes to teach you lessons, likes to bring you to your future, to your destiny, to your rewards, but wants you to learn the lesson along the way, right? This Five of Swords is resistant to that. It feels beat up by this destiny, You know, it feels kind of like the lessons are a little bit too, I don't know, just too beyond my grasp right now, or just a little bit too severe, or I'm just not in the mood for it. So there is some fundamental disharmony between you and this work that you do and the motivation behind this work. Okay. So we do have to retune, and anyone who follows this channel knows that I'm very interested in retuning the Five of Swords. Okay. I've struggled with, confidence issues, with depression, with mental health issues. And I know how important it is for us to adjust our thinking. And now the Five of Swords shows spirit down here on the bottom, right? Our spirit, our will is kind of being buried underneath these elements, right? The situation, the details of life, the pressures of life. What we need to do is turn this card upside down, and I know I do this every time. I don't read reversals, I create them sometimes. And this is the one that we have to create. We have to put spirit back on top. We have to let spirit take the wheel. If you're feeling something is not really vibing with this situation, we need to do something about it. If you feel like you're not really understanding the message from spirit right now, we have to retune into that frequency. Right? We have to adjust our thinking. We have to begin opening ourselves up and asking for guidance, rather than just kind of grumbling under our breath that we have to do this kind of thing, right? And I don't know what kind of work you're doing. I know that you have tremendous ambition, motivation, endurance. You've got the power and the skill to push through. So really, it could be one of these, you're silently suffering, right? And you're just going to push through and continue this work because you feel that it's your responsibility, it's your obligation, or it's your destiny. So you have the means. You've got this devil energy down here and general energy. You can push this thing all the way till the end. I don't think you're happy doing it. I don't think it's going to work out as successfully as we would hope. So, excuse me. I think we need to retune our air energy, okay? In the immediate future, we see this Knight of Swords. This is fire of air, okay? And the fire here is something that is kind of lacking. And this is really the certainty, the inspiration from spirit, that confidence, that joy, that enthusiasm, that passion, that real fire and creativity, right? That if you had more fire, then we could say, yes, this is just an awesome work that you're doing. Your whole spirit is in this. But it's not. It's not. Your fire is somewhere in the future. With this air energy being retuned, your fire is somewhere up above you that you're still longing for. This is the Four of Wands. It's up here above everything, and you're just kind of looking to it as a star in the sky saying, I wish I had that. I'm here doing this. I really want that fire energy. Right? So this is what we're kind of almost secretly aspiring to. This is what we really want. We really want a situation, a work, a project, some activity in our horizontal world here that is a manifestation of our spirit, that is a crystallization of our fire, right? Of spirit, of soul, of creativity. See, the Four of Wands, I love this card. One of my favorite cards now. It never used to be, but slowly it's becoming my favorite. Because I see this as that campfire, that circle of stones that we create out in the middle of the wilderness. Right? Out in the chaos. We line up some stones in a circle. And we create a fire right in the middle. That fire is contained. That fire is warming us. That fire is lighting the way. It is a beacon for others. Right? And it is our own. Now, every fire is a unique fire, but fire itself is the same everywhere, right? I mean, generally speaking, philosophically speaking, maybe. I'm sure the chemical, makeup is different for different types of flames, but fire generally is ubiquitous. And it is it is uniquely manifested in your life when we use the material around us, when we create order out of the chaos and we create this circle of stones. It's our circle. The stones are all different, right? The materials that we use to build and to express where we're going to put our fire is going to look different every time, And we build our fire now in a day or two, or whenever this kind of this campsite is done, this camping trip is over with. We extinguish the fire, we put the stones back, we disassemble everything, and it looks untouched. Maybe to a trained eye, someone could see that, humans have been here. But for our purposes, we've not disturbed this wild, chaotic environment around us, right? But we have manifested our fire, and we're going to move on, and we're going to manifest it again somewhere else. But this is, I think, what you're aspiring to. This is what you really want in your life. And I don't see any fire in the work that you're doing now. I see this untuned air energy. Okay. So I think the first step is for us to realize that this is what we want. Yeah. This is what we want. And in the immediate future, fire and air, right? So we are putting our fire, putting our energy and our activity and our creativity and our will and our spirit first into retuning our mental patterns, habits, right? Getting retuned into this, right? Because oddly enough, your destiny looks a lot like what you're aspiring to, right? These cards look pretty similar. One is more spiritual, right? It's got the yellows and purples, a very, very kind of royal colors, spiritual colors. And then we have the greens and the yellows that represent more manifested, right? The green and the red for the lifeblood, for manifested spirit, right? So we have above and below. So this is what we need to tune into, these two. We're not seeing that right here with these 5s and this 9. We're kind of, we're out of tune, right? So we need to retune in to that Jupiter energy. And we're doing that. That's the work that's before you. This card is what's right before you. It's fire and air. That's where we're putting our creativity for right now. That's where we're putting our spirit, and our focus is to, do whatever you do in your life to tune into spirit. I think a lot of that is hermit energy. I think you're someone who probably meditates in their own way. You have rituals and prayers of your own that are probably very unique. I don't see you just kind of falling into an organized religion or kind of a prescribed way of connecting with spirit. I think you do it in your own way. But this hermit is saying, look, you have to do that. And that light that's within the hermit, that is spirit within you, and we're tuning into that. And so to do that, sometimes we have to, cloak ourselves from the outside stimuli. Sometimes we have to withdraw from all of this external chaos that we're, experiencing. And that is the chaos out of which we're going to create with this 4 of Wands. But to retune, I think we have to go inward. I think we have to shield ourselves a little bit from all of this chaos, all of this stimuli, as much as possible. I know it's hard to avoid screens now everywhere we go, gas stations. And I just learned that there is actually a mute button on those gas station TVs where you can at least turn off the sound. I'm a big sound guy. I don't know if you know that. I've done a lot of like audio engineering and for bands and stuff, a little bit here and there. Because sound is really important to me, and I'm kind of bothered when there's too much sound going on at once. If too many people are talking to me, it reminds me of an episode in The Office. I'm not technically deaf, but sometimes when there's a lot of voices going on, I have trouble, kind of honing in on just one of those voices. I kind of I hear like I don't know. Anyway, the point is, we have to try to cut some of that off so that we can tune into this frequency over here. You know? That's kind of, and it may be difficult to hone in on this frequency when we're out here in the chaos and there's so much going on and we're involved in everything. We may have to invoke this hermit a little bit. At least enough where we can go inward, you know, as often as possible, whatever moments you have, even if you're in a crowded room, sometimes we can still, you know, close our eyes and try to detach from, you know, our senses a little bit. You know, it's a lot easier said than done, but tune into the light that's in here, because this light is always connected with spirit, but we're not always connected with that light in a way that we can perceive, you know. Sometimes there's a lot of interference. So I think this is where we're going. Again, with this devil energy, you have the spirit, the will, the drive, the ambition to push yourself through to any finish line. Now, this devil energy doesn't care what your goal is. It doesn't care what's at the top of the mountain. It's just going to climb all the way to the top. So we have to give the direction, right? So even if you're kind of tuned into something that's not working, that isn't for you, that doesn't really seem to be vibing, the devil energy is just going to keep going forward until you tell it otherwise. Right? So I think that's a good energy to have, but it also is energy that needs direction. We have this ability to see things through to the very end, push our way all the way through to success, but let's just make sure that you're on the right road. Okay? Now, the road on the path of the serpent looks beautiful. Because we have this intense ambition, we're going to find our inner light and our guidance and our connection with spirit. We're going to tune into the frequencies over here. We're going to do the introspection. We're going to see if we can point some of these swords at ourselves to get a better idea of what's going on. Try to tune in to the Wheel of Fortune. And doing that is going to bring us face to face with a Nine of Cups. Again, if you're a follower of the channel, you know that I love the Nine of Cups. This is the best energy, I think, in the tarot. This is, and it should be, I think, the foundation of a meaningful life, the pursuit of your happiness, right? Your happiness not just in the fulfillment of your immediate desires, in the moment, you know, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. I got a sweet tooth, I'm going to have some ice cream. It's not just that kind of happiness, because is that really happiness, or is that just the immediate, you know, gratification of a desire and the creation of the next desire, right? It's kind of a Buddhist thing going on. This is a little bit deeper than that, right? Because this can see happiness that's still very far off. This can go through the difficulties now in order to have the rewards later. This is fulfillment and satisfaction on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. Right, we have the three, and then the kind of invisible three up there for spirit. So the physical, mental, emotional abundance, right? And not just the immediate gratification, but that happiness that's further in the distance, or that lasts for a long time, right? And this is what we're confronting. This card's in the position of what we don't want. So there's this idea that we kind of know all of this already. We feel it already, that this isn't where we want to be. This isn't making us happy. But we do it anyway. Because maybe we don't want to admit that it's not making us happy. I've got to do something different. I've got to retune. I've got to get myself in harmony. And I've got to start doing what I know I'm meant to be doing in my life, and that's creating, or whatever it is. So it's almost like we don't want to confront this, because then it's a whole other can of worms, right? Then we've got to kind of do all this other work. So it sort of makes sense that the Nine of Cups is in this position of what we don't want, of what our obstacle is, what we have to confront. This position is lately becoming what we're confronting, what we need to confront. It's what we don't want, but maybe it's what we need. Maybe it's what we need. So I think we need to confront this idea of a deep happiness, right? A more general happiness, an overarching pursuit of what's meant for us, what will fulfill us. You know, not just the satisfaction of desires. Something more long-term, right? Something that has that kind of spiritual satisfaction. Something that will satisfy your soul. I don't think this is it, okay? So if we're able to confront this idea of happiness and fulfillment, and this isn't necessarily selfish, right? Because your happiness then is going to spread to everyone around you, right? When you're happy, when you're feeling in love with life, everyone around you is going to know, because they're going to feel it too. You're not just doing this for you, right? This water energy is something that's going to benefit everyone in your life. Your pets, your plants, your people. Definitely you as well, you know? So we need to confront that, and if and when we do, Four of Cups at the end here. So the Four of Cups now, to me, sometimes this will take on a bit of a kind of a shadowy kind of energy. But right now, this is taking on an energy that's very similar to the Four of Wands. Four of Wands, Four of Cups. Fire and water. Circle and square. Right? Taking that fire energy, our creativity, and we're giving it form. We're manifesting it, crystallizing it. Giving it a structure. Right? Building something out of the chaos into which we can put our fire, our passion, our creativity. And then with the water energy, this is creating a stable foundation, the four, right? Four legs of a chair, four walls of a room or whatever. Four elements, four quarters, all that stuff. Creating a stable and safe structure into which we can put our heart and soul. We can put our water energy. See, there's no water energy on the path of the dove. You're just not feeling it. You're just not feeling it. Over here, we start to feel it. And over here, manifesting our creativity, going after what we truly aspire to and what we really want, is going to allow us that safe structure, that stable foundation to put our heart and soul in. It's okay now to be connected and to have meaning and to put your love energy into this. It's okay now. It's safe. It's there for you to do that. We're not doing that over here. So this is part of what we aspire to. We aspire to something in our life, some sort of structure or work, I think closely related to this Four of Wands, into which we can put our water energy and our fire energy. I wonder if the mystery card is going to be that art or temperance card. Let's find out. Thank you, Alien, for bringing us that mystery card. Thank you for being the guardian of the mystery card there. I think art or temperance card is something showing the blending of fire and water. Okay, that's my prediction. No, interestingly, it's the Hanged Man. So this is telling me that we are stuck here in this Nine of Cups thing. That for some reason we don't want to confront this. We don't want to admit that we're not happy doing what we're doing. We almost feel like we're making some kind of, sacrifice. We're some kind of martyr or something because we're doing what does not make us happy. We feel like we're scoring some kind of spiritual points for doing that, right? That if we force ourselves to suffer like this, that somehow it is making us better or strengthening us or something. I don't know. And maybe it does. right? Maybe it does a little bit. But that is something that you need to reflect upon with these 9 swords, right? We need to turn our attention inward and learn that about ourselves. Ask ourselves, is that what's going on? You know, is the reason why we're not confronting this 9 of Cups because we feel like we are gaining something by suffering in this way? By denying ourselves this 9 of Cups, is that somehow strengthening us? Do we feel like it's making us better or scoring some kind of karma points or something like that, right? I'm not trying to offend anyone. I didn't choose this card, right? You did. So it could be that this Hanged Man is saying, look, you have to kind of give up your struggle here. You have to kind of surrender and open yourself up to. You have to put yourself in the most vulnerable position. This is probably the most vulnerable position any human being could be in, right? Because this, I don't want to get graphic, but this is a spot I don't think anyone wants to be in. So it is completely immersing yourself in this water. We don't want to confront this, but we are allowing ourselves to do it even though it's going to be difficult, even though it may scare us, it may make us feel, an intense anxiety or whatever it might be. This is something that we need to confront. And I think right now we're going to do an extended reading. We're going to see if we can get a little bit more info out of this Hanged Man. Okay. If you would like to stick around for the extended, just click up here. That'll give you access to all of the extended readings, not just for Aries, but for all of the zodiac signs. Okay. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.